Hey, what's up, YouTube? Thanks for joining me again. And if you're new here, thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. And well, of course, it had to be since I posted a video talking about how I was doing better, just updating y'all since I hadn't talked to you in a while, how I was feeling better, how I was working part-time, and things were looking good. Of course, I end up back in the hospital because that's just the way life works, right? I had been working good, like I had been saying, I've been working, been feeling good, been changing my diet, all that. And nope, back in the hospital. On Saturday night, I was at work. It was just a quick 4-hour shift, and just out of nowhere was incredibly weak and fatigued, felt really nauseous, felt kind of dizzy, and just could not muster through the day. I was worried that I, had some bleeding going on with my esophagus because that's really dangerous. You gotta get that stuff checked out because otherwise you're gonna get really, really ill and have a blood transfusion and all that. And luckily that wasn't the case. Luckily I wasn't bleeding, but I'll get to that in a minute here. But I couldn't make it through the work, and I decided to go to the hospital because of that concern. I have a boss that understands that, like, hey, you're terminally ill and you're fucked up, so of course you're gonna be sick from time to time. If I had a job anywhere else, I would have been fired a long time ago. So anyways, I go to the hospital, and it's always kind of 50-50 with them. You don't know if they're going to be like, yeah, well, you're sick, but obviously, because you have cirrhosis, go home, you're fine, or they're going to be like, no, you're in serious condition and you need to go back, we need to admit you. And in this case, they needed to admit me, and they were saying they might even have to do a blood transfusion, and they were going to wait on a GI doctor to see what was going on. So they admit me, and then luckily I ate right before. I knew better to eat right before because I wasn't going to be eating for a while. So I spent Saturday night in the hospital, and I wake up Sunday waiting for the GI doctor to come. And of course, it's a Sunday, so no GI doctor ever came. But they weren't sure if he was going to stop by or not, and so they weren't feeding me. They were wondering if he was going to stop by, and then eventually they realized that he wasn't going to be coming around, so they decided to keep me on a clear liquid diet, which is basically like chicken broth, beef broth, juices or whatever. But it was a lot better than just starving to death, because at that point it had been like 14, 15 hours of not eating and feeling hell sick just because I was starving to death practically. Eventually, I talked to a GI doctor. I think it was Monday I talked to a GI doctor, but on Sunday, it seemed that the bleeding was less of concern, and what they were really concerned about was my platelets were super low, and my white blood cell count was crazy low as well. And that one's new to me. Like, normally, I can imagine your platelets being low if you're bleeding. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but the white blood cell count, it has been low before, but I guess it was just insanely low at this point, and that was new to me, so I didn't know what to expect. And they were saying that that could be two possible outcomes, or that could mean two possible different things, and that is autoimmune disorder or cancer. So they were really concerned about that, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit too. Like, at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if I did have like some sort of autoimmune disease, because I do have a thyroid disorder, and sometimes your liver problem can be an autoimmune disorder as well that's killing your liver. I don't know. I've never actually had any kind of biopsy done on my liver to find out if it was the alcohol or if there's some other cause for it. I know I don't have Hep C, so that's the only thing I know, which is good. Thank God I don't have that. So they watched my levels for a couple days, and then they never really told me, okay, they never tested to see if you have cancer or you have some autoimmune disorder. I think it's just when your liver's that damaged, your spleen gets enlarged, and for some reason your spleen gets really big and it hoards all the white blood cells. Like, all the white blood cells, instead of being in my bloodstream, are in my spleen now for some reason. So dealing with low platelets and a low white blood cell count is just something I have to deal with now, which is new to me, and it's kind of trippy. I got to do some more research into all that. I don't know too much of what that means, but it's not a good sign. And then as Monday comes around, I talk to a GI doctor. He kind of explained the whole thing about the spleen being enlarged, and that's probably why You know, my white blood cell count is super low, and if I had any bleeding, it was minimal and it wasn't, you know, to any concern. So I guess I was just super sick because I had, you know, my platelets and my white blood cell count were low. So that's where I'm at now. I'm out of the hospital, and I guess I just have to deal with the fact that, you know, I have cirrhosis and I'm going to get sick from time to time. You know, I can try to improve my diet to make things a little better here and there, but, you know, being sick and getting sick a lot, and it's just gonna something I have to accept, something I'm gonna have to deal with for a long time. And I find it actually pretty frustrating because I've been trying to, you know, fix my diet around, as you all know. I've been trying to eat healthier, drink water, and, you know, I'm not drinking, so I should feel better, right? Like, what's the point of changing my diet around if I'm just gonna feel like crap all the time, if I'm not gonna be able to work all the time? And that's something that I'm a little worried about. I've debated on whether or not to try and get disability for my cirrhosis. I don't want to go on disability. I want to feel better and work because I grew up, both my parents were on disability, and you're kind of stuck when you're on disability. It's like you're stuck in poverty. There's not much you can do to get around it. You're not going to get that much money. You're going to get a little bit to pay the rent and hopefully have some food left over, and that's it. And I don't want to live like that. I want to have a decent job. I don't mind working. I like to work. It's good for you. I don't want to be trapped in poverty, and maybe I can work a little bit when I'm on disability, but I'll still be, you know, broke as shit. And sitting around the house is kind of nice. Not having to do anything is kind of nice, but I don't want to be stuck on disability. And now I'm having to debate, you know, maybe I'm just having to accept that I have to go for disability right now and just relax and take it as it is. You know, it is what it is. I got to get on disability and I'm going to be broke. And, you know, that's that. I don't want that, but maybe that's the way it is. I am feeling a little better, or a lot better, since I went to the hospital. You know, since I've been out, I've been feeling a lot better. But even just spending a half hour trying to get my room picked up, and right before I go to work, and I'm kind of feeling weak as it is right now. So like, if I can't spend a half hour picking up my room, spending a half hour doing dishes and cleaning up the house, then I really can't work. Even if my job at the gas station, you know, it's easy. You just go to a gas station, help customers, take out the trash. It's not that much, it's not very much strain on my body, but apparently that's too much and I'm going to have to let that go. And I'm just going to have to get disability. What sucks about having to get disability, beside for the fact that when you have it, you're not going to make that much money, is I'm going to have to be really broke before I get it, because it can take time. It can take me 6 months. It can take me 2 or 3 years to, you know, fight it and have to get a lawyer and try to get on disability and all that. So I'm not looking forward to that. But that's kind of the position I'm in right now. All right, well, that was my weekend. I just wanted to update you all on how I'm feeling, what's going on with me. Wish I had better news, but that's the way it is. And thanks for stopping by, checking me out. Give this video a like. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that alert notification so when you'll know when I post more videos, and keep up with me if you want. And I will catch you guys later. Thanks again.